Hey everybody, just wanted to make a recap video for Monday. I made $2,600 today. It was a new personal best. Back-to-back personal best days. Things are coming together. Very cool. But I had some questions on IFRX. I received some questions about why I was watching it or how I anticipated this move. I just wanted to go through it again. I know that in previous videos I've already gone over IFRX, and I recommend you look back at those videos to see what I said about it. It may be helpful, but let's just do a quick recap. So IFRX I was watching because it's a gap to fill play. I was hoping it would fill gap and be really strong and powerful. And then in the short term, like a multi-week downtrending channel, double bottomed and broke out of that channel as soon as it double bottomed. As soon as it broke out of the channel, I was watching it because I knew it was close to a gap to fill. And so that really caught my interest. There was a filing of an owner owning a percentage of the company, and then there was another piece of news that came out in here at some point. And as long as it was holding range, I told you all I was willing to watch it and wait for it to form because I was tired of missing these plays. Some examples that come to my mind, BCLI. CYCN though is the big one that is most similar. So look at CYCN, analyze the chart, come back, take a look at IFRX, and think to yourself how they're similar, how they're different, but just take a look. It's worth it. Okay, so I want to go over the TA that I was looking at. Let's get a good color. Choose color. Okay. So I noticed that we are range bound. Range bound between $5 and $4.05. And I noticed that most of the days the major support was around 430 on the pullback days. But this is important. You see this bottom? It holds at 410, and then we get a slightly higher low at 415 about. Okay, so I knew it was range bound. I knew it was going back and forth testing the resistance, coming back down, held a higher low, and it basically consolidated for, I would say, 3 days. So that allowed me to watch it into this week. My plan was to watch it all week for proper development so that I could play it and try to get the rip that we got today. And I actually think today was somewhat weak compared to what I thought was possible. So there's that. You know, I made $2,200 on IFRX today. I'm gonna go through every single trade. But yeah, it's nice to make that much money, and the play was pretty much weak. So let's see if I can. Trying to think how I can explain this. Okay, I think I know how I can. So here's the initial perk, the breakout out of the channel. We get a pullback channel, and then on this day, it gets news. So it got news and it gapped up over 5. It pulled back. It did not impress me this day, and I actually took. I think I made a little bit of money on this day, and basically I just knew that we were gonna have to wait. We're gonna have to wait it out for it to develop. So this isn't the cleanest development ever, but you gotta whatever TA that you have to work with, you have to do your best with it. TA is not an exact science, and for those who don't know, technical analysis, fancy way of saying how the charts develop, the way the lines look. So I just worked with what it gave me, which was, in my eyes, I saw this little wedge if you can even call it a wedge. Okay, this was sloppy development, but it did form a wedge after holding. Now this is very important. After holding the support. Okay, so this is a higher low. Bottoms out, higher low, bottom. And then this morning, it gapped up out of our wedge. So these are the things that I was thinking about when I saw this. So it was on my watch list in the morning. As you can see, nice gap up. I saw a surge to 450 in the morning. It pulled back, kind of perked again over VWAP and started to hold. And I was very curious because this is very strong TA. Okay, this is very bullish. So whenever you see a trend look like this is very bullish development. I'm telling you right now. We get a surge, 40,000 shares. And so this happened way too fast for me. You know, this was one person that just bought it and surged it. I was going to possibly get in at 446. I almost pulled the trigger, but I was thinking back to some of those previous days where I pulled the trigger too soon and ended up taking losses. I wanted to try to avoid that, and I wanted to get stronger confirmation today. So this 40,000 shares was a nice confirmation. It was from 445 to 458. Immediately, alarm bells were going crazy in my head. Is today the day? Today might be the day, you know, when you see something like this. And so we have multi-day development that correlates with a multi-week development, which correlates to the intraday chart, which is today's development. So do you understand how these pieces of the puzzle come together? You analyze them, come together to give you more insight as to where this thing wants to go or what's possible. Not an exact science, but I'm just trying to give you some insight into what's going through my head. Okay, so it holds for a minute, and then I take this micro flag at 454, and I get a nice continuation surge. And at this point, there's no selling. It's more just like, okay, I'm in at 454, I'm going to risk 450. If today's the day, I might get a nice move. So there's no selling. You just let it go and stick to your plan. So I do let it go, and perhaps an add spot here at 480. I'm not at the point where I like adding this high up. You know, it is a shame because the way it developed, I was only comfortable with 1,000 shares. There are times where these plays will develop in ways that allow you to size in with like 2, 3, 4, 5,000 shares. Today, I was not feeling comfortable. It just wasn't developing in a way that I was comfortable with. So I just stuck to 1,000 shares. It worked for me. I don't regret it. This is just part of my process. Some plays, I don't think they're the greatest plays in the world. I only take 1,000 shares. And I still bank on it. You know, this was a good result. I'm happy with it. So, no complaints. I'm just saying that's why I didn't take more share size. Beautiful surge into halt. After the halt, get a nice surge up. So here's the thing with the gap to fill. Let's go back real quick. With the gap to fill, this thing started ripping. Now, if it got over 6 with strength and surged into a second halt, then there was a very good chance we get $7 test. So this is why I didn't immediately sell once it surges over 6 and comes down. Okay, I didn't immediately sell because I honestly thought that $7 test was a very high probability. I thought that was a high probability. I wanted to give it time. The risk reward I felt was weighted towards a hold. So that's why I didn't sell it into 6 or maybe 610. This happened extremely fast. I'm not sure how much volume got to 616 or 617, but it happened very fast. Came down, pulled back, and that point, you know, I felt the weakness. And once I felt the weakness, I cut it. So I cut it at 588, locked up $1,300 on this. So the very next play is actually my biggest misstep of the day on this ticker. I bought 500 shares at 544. I was thinking, okay, it's holding VWAP. It held it for 3 minutes. If I get reversal back up, I could test highs. If I test highs, we could start surging again to maybe test 650. I didn't realize that IFRX was not quite as strong as I imagined it would be. So it threw me off once we actually confirmed to the downside. I would say this was a small misstep because I think I jumped in a little early before I had strong enough confirmation to justify it. I, however, did a very good job of realizing the extra risk involved, and I only took 500 shares here. So I like that I only took 500, and then I ended up selling it once it. And actually, I got filled. I had some technical difficulties with E-Trade for a minute there, and so like when this dumped on me, I was just trying to get my E-Trade back up, so that was kind of scary. But everything was fine. You know, everything came back. It was all good for the rest of the day. And I got out at 524 once it just failed to bounce reclaim. So once it couldn't reclaim VWAP, I cut it at 524. Okay, biggest loss of the day on the ticker. Lost $100 on that. I liked how I was developing the 490s, wanted to start sizing back in, took 500 shares at 494, took 500 more at 497, did not get the bounce I was looking for, and at that point, I cut it because I didn't want to get dumped on. So I cut it at 491, took another loss on that. Trying to think how much that was, probably like, what, $50? I do know the grand total was $2,200 on this name for the entire day, so just keep that in mind. We do get finally a nice entry here at 497. And this time I did get the bounce. I sold it at 538. We're locking up $400 on this. So that was very nice. Couple missteps, but I would say as long as you know that the ticker that you're playing has the right opportunity, has the right volatility, that when you do finally nail the bounce, you're going to do fine, you're going to make your money back, then I think it's fine. I wouldn't call this over trading. I would call these definitely jumping the gun and definitely some missteps, but you can see I just made $400 right back. So, okay, moving on. Break-even trade, and this was like a $20 win. This trade was, I believe, $5 win. Then we got another pretty nice win here. We got back in at 498 and I sold it at 519. So $200 win on that. Got back in at 528, and got out at like 530. Small win on that. Okay, so I liked you can see the way I was trading it, I was extremely confident that what happened would happen, which was that end of the day, we got an end of the day rip, and I thought it was going to happen much earlier. I thought we were going to break out of highs, to be honest. It didn't happen, but I was very confident we were going to get it. So this is why I was trading like a madman, I was trying to catch the second move. So I bought in. I really like this buy at 520. I kind of hate this buy though. There was bid support. Honestly, it was a proper buy. But I bought 1,000 at 520 and I bought 1,000 at 535. I just think the ad was too high. However, if we did get the surge over 535 and it just starts ripping like it did into close, if it happened right here, I would look like a genius, right? So I don't hate it. I think it's fine. A little unfortunate that it didn't surge for me there, but that's life. That happens. Maybe cut it a little too late. I cut 2,000 shares at 527, so I did end up taking a $10 loss on that. And then I just, I couldn't risk it dumping on me, but then it recovered nicely. I took it at 535 or maybe 536 because again, guys, I was looking for this move, this late day move. I was looking for it. I knew it was coming. I could feel it. You could just feel these things sometimes. Such healthy development. It looked great. I really thought it was going to happen for me earlier, but it was giving me a hard time. So small win there, break even trade here, very small win here, and then finally I get some nice momentum. So I bought it at 529, get some nice momentum. I sell it at 570, lock up another 400. So, I guess I sold it a little soon, but these late day moves are very hard to play because there's not that much time left in the day. That's why if this move happens right here around 2 p.m., then it has all 2 more hours to find an uptrend and run into power hour, and then I really think it would have made new highs. I think we were so close to seeing a really nice move that I could have had patience on. But the reality is, the move just happened too close to the end of the day. So I decided to play it safe and just lock up $400. It does end up running to 610. So very nice to see that upside was there. It's always nice to be on the right track. It did test the morning highs. I really think, I already said, I think it would have made new highs if this run started a little earlier. You know me, I don't swing trade. I never do. It just goes against my rules. I just see too many horror stories happen from swing trading, and until I feel like I have an edge swinging trades overnight, I'm not going to do it. Find success doing it, that is amazing, and I hope I find success swing trading in the future. But for now, I've been trading for 3 years. I still do not, I just don't feel an edge. For myself personally, I don't feel an edge swinging, so I don't. I stick to what I'm good at. So I did not swing trade any shares that came out with a filing, and the market didn't like it. The market sold off on the filing, so IFRX might be over. I'm not happy to see it. I was really looking forward to playing it tomorrow, and now that's kind of up in the air. We have to see how the market reacts to this filing. Maybe I'll look into it tonight and take a deeper dive and really see what the filing is. Let's see if it can maybe recover range after hours. I'm not sure if this was a panic or if the sell-off was actually warranted. We'll have to wait and see about that. So yeah, that was my recap on IFRX for those who were wondering, wanted more information about it. I hope you enjoyed the insight, and you can see I traded a lot of trades on this, lots of trades. And I have no problem. I don't count this as over trading, and I have no problem doing this on a ticker that I'm really liking. That fits my style. It has a lot of volatility, that has a lot of range. I don't mind playing it this many times. It's just my style. So, alright, I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed, like and subscribe, helps the channel a lot, and I'll see you on the next video.